Why is it that in the early 1900s, one could build something like the Empire State Building in about 15 months, but today it takes over 8 years to build the World Trade Center? Why is it that China can build 150 nuclear power plants and high-speed railroads while the United States can't even build one? Why does the New York train station education system look the exact same way it did from 50 years ago? Why does California have more homeless people in their state than all the other states combined? While these may seem like unrelated things, there are underlying drivers that give rise to them, and today we'll explore them. Lobbying. To understand lobbying, you first must understand how politicians work. As a politician, you require a certain number of votes to win. How you get those votes is by addressing voter problems such as healthcare being too expensive, inflation being too high, climate change is going to kill us all, etc. Your ability to address voter issues drives how many votes you receive. Once you have figured out how to solve all the world problems, you run into a new issue where you have all of these ideas about how you're going to create change, but no one knows who you are. You'll see this all the time on election day when it's time to fill out a ballot and there's candidates of names you have no idea about. So you must advertise, maybe Facebook ads, picket signs, subscriber emails, campaign trails, or sending things in the mail, but all that stuff costs money, so you need to raise funds for your campaign. Even be remotely competitive against the top tier politicians, you'll need to raise similar numbers as them. To raise the funds, you'll be doing something very similar to what you did with the voters, but addressing donor problems. The number of issues you address for your donors drives the amount of money flowing into your campaign. Now, the donors will be everyone from well-meaning interest groups making laws to stop climate change to companies spending millions of dollars to make laws to block their competition. For example, imagine it's 1995 and you're Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon. The number one thing you want to do is lobby minimum wage laws on all the local bookstores. Let's consider revenuing expenses of a bookstore, or in other words, all the money coming into the business through book sales and all the money going out of the business for like rent, employees, etc. If we increase the minimum wage, we increase the money going out of the business. To get back to break even, the owner can either lay off an employee to reduce how much money is going out of the business, or raise the prices of the books to increase the amount of money that's coming into the business. There is a concept called Showrooming,
that's when customers come into a Best Buy store, look around, and then buy the item online.
The higher the bookstore's price is, the more traffic flows to Amazon. Competing with Amazon has just shifted from being hard to nearly impossible with the new law. On the flip side, you have people who want to get paid a living wage. So now voters and donors both agree on the same issue, even though the donors are using the voters' issue to eliminate their competitors. Imagine that you're a landlord in California, a state where 100,000 people per year go from all over the world for school, acting, or work. The number one thing you want to do is slow down how much gets built in the state. You can think of it in basic, simple supply and demand. Let's say on average rent is $1,000. If more people just keep coming into the state, but you lobby to block all new things that gets built, then the price will just keep increasing until demand is equal to supply. The fact that nothing new gets built in the state as it currently stands is one of the reasons why it's the most expensive state to live in. Not only will rent increase, but the value of all homes will as well. This is how you get in a situation where a 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 650 square foot house costs $570,000. Consider this example. Picture a bunch of houses on a hill that have a direct view of the beach or city. Now suppose someone tries to build an apartment building. Maybe they wanted to increase the supply of housing to lower the cost. You'll get a bunch of people creating laws to prevent the construction of the building. Now, building something new just gotten harder. Let's add a well-meaning interest group paying politicians to make a law requiring all new homes to have solar panels. Now, the cost of building a new house just increased further, making building something new even more difficult. Now add tens of thousands of special interest groups and companies all trying to pass a new law in their own self-interest. Not only will the number of laws in the construction industry increase, but pretty much the laws in every industry. Since the laws are put in a box where you can't see who made them, when it's time for a citizen or a startup to follow them, they are following the wishes of the lobbyist. This is how we end up in a scenario where 17 years to construct 49 apartment complexes, or why in the early 1900s, building something like the Empire State Building took only 15 months, whereas today it takes over 8 years to rebuild the World Trade Center. Now, this happens in every industry except software, because you can't come up with some sort of law, permit, or requirement to block programmers writing code in their basement. When you hear someone say that it feels like things are moving at a tremendous pace, or it feels like things are moving faster than they ever did before, they're not talking about how there are so many new skyscrapers near them or how innovative the education system is. They're talking about something related to software. For example, LinkedIn got 100 million users in about 8 years. ChatGPT, which was released after that, did that in 2 months. Thread, which was released after that, did that in 5 days. Now, we fault politicians for this, but it's important to realize the politicians are forced. The politicians' ability to solve donor problems drives their money for their campaign. If I have 3 donors, but I only pass a law for 2, when it's time for re-election, I will lose my donor who gave me money to do something for them that I didn't do. Over time, the donors' issues take priority over the voters. The donors can observe how their $2 million donation influenced the law, whereas voters may not easily discern how their votes do. To understand why the government can't agree, you must understand what makes a successful politician is their ability to pass laws and reverse conflicting laws. Imagine that politician A and B both make some progress on an issue. If the progress conflicts with politician C's, then it gets reversed. If I campaign on energy independence and decided to drill more oil and you campaign on climate crisis, any progress I make, you have an incentive to reverse. Even if you wanted to agree with me, you couldn't because you would lose support from your donors. Now, abstract that dynamic and apply this to every industry you can think of, ranging from healthcare and climate change to education and energy independence. We can even take 3 separate presidents, Obama, Trump, and Biden, as an examples. Obama put us in the Paris Accord agreement. Trump reverses it. Trump decides to build the Keystone oil pipeline. Biden reverses it. To understand the problem with short-term policies, you must understand more of the politician's track record. Let's just say that we pass Bill A and Bill A produces enough results before the end of the term. I can then go campaign on the results of Bill A, so short-term bills get selected the most. Let's say I then go and pass Bill B, which won't produce any results until 5 to 6 years after I'm out of office. I cannot then go campaign on the results, so long bills don't get selected for. The longer it takes to see the results of the bill, the less likely it is to get passed. Now, it wasn't always this way.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
At one time, the United States could build interstates, go to the moon, and build the atomic bomb. In the 1960s, even though there were different politicians, they were still part of Team America. Now you have a situation where the amount of polarization has increased, making politicians view more things as conflicting issues, causing fewer things to get done. I'll make a video about this in the future. As far as China goes, it's great to live there as long as things are going well. But as soon as you disagree with your government, rather that's disagree with the laws, disagree with the mandates, disagree with the actions, then the government takes guns and shoot all the protesters. Since the government controls everything the citizens see through partnering with the technology companies there, if you try to search for the event, it will come up a conspiracy theory. Tiananmen Square. If you like this video, you stayed to the end, consider giving it a like and subscribe. Yeah, this is just a part 1. I plan to do a part 2 in the future. We'll talk more about the things that you see slowing down, but we'll talk about the things in academia next. I have many more videos like this coming out. There's going to be much longer, go way more in depth. So stay tuned because I can't wait. It's very fun making these videos. This is my first one. Have no idea if anybody's watching, but if you are, I appreciate you so much. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much. Have a good one.